Hey guys, today's video we're going to be installing the ProTaper XPS clutch lever on a 2022 Yamaha YZ65. This particular lever comes with the perch and the lever. It's a complete assembly, and what this allows us to do is adjust the reach for Grayson's hands on two different levels. As you guys can see, a normal breakaway lever goes forward 90 degrees, just like this. That allows you, just in case you crash, hit your handlebar on the ground, it moves so that it doesn't break the lever off. But the XPS system from ProTaper also moves up 90 degrees and down 90 degrees. Alright guys, so with all that adjustability, this is only going to take you about an hour's worth of your time. You're going to need an 8mm and 10mm socket and or wrench to get a hold of the bolts that are holding on the perch assembly. You're also going to need a 3mm and a 2mm Allen wrench to get to the set screws on your adjustment knobs. Other than that, it's getting the old lever off, putting the new one on, making sure your cable is adjusted properly, and that you adjust the lever to your liking. Let's get at it. Alright, so first step, let's go ahead and pull back this boot. As you can see, the stock lever is adjusted nicely. You've got a little bit of play here, about the size of a quarter width here on the lever. So that's exactly how we're going to want to put this back with a new perch and lever. But you know, first things first is we got to get some play in the cable. So what we're going to do is turning this up actually tightens the cable, and coming back down loosens the cable. So we're going to go ahead and turn this down, and we're going to get some play back in the stock cable. So there is an 8mm bolt here on the top, and then the perch is also held on with two 8mm bolts right here. Underneath there is a 10mm bolt holding, or I should say 10mm net holding this on. So you'd have to have a 10 and an 8 to loosen this up, or just the 10 should break it free, and that way we can get this perch off. Once you break that there, you'll be able to unscrew the clutch cable from the adjuster screw. Alright, so next step here, gotta open the box up. Alright, first things first, we need to get this rubber boot off of the adjuster knob, and basically it's a super tight fit because once this is all installed, this is going to help prevent dirt from getting into the cable. So kind of surprised they didn't ship this already uninstalled, because if you really pulled on this you could rip it. As an example, there's a piece of rubber here that lays in between the star, and you would not really want to pull up on that too hard because that could rip. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a flat blade screwdriver and just try to work this boot off of this adjuster knob, and we'll just take it nice and easy and try to get it off. Alright, got that thing slid all the way up there. Next thing is we want to remove these two 8mm bolts on the new perch. And we're going to be replacing this in the exact same spot that it was installed in, so we're going to get this plastic piece slid on here. Okay, Alright, next thing is we need to remove this pivot bolt right here on the new lever. This is an 8. This is a 10. Let's go ahead and remove the 10 millimeter on the bottom. Trying to make this as easy as possible here for you guys to see. Sorry if things get in the way, but it's going to give you a really good idea how to do this yourself and not have to pay an hour to someone install this on for you. Flip this over and we'll take out the 8 millimeter bolt. Alright, first things first, let's get the perch installed back on. It's going to be located right here. These are both 8 millimeter bolts going in over the plastic sleeve. And we're just going to snug them up. We're not going to tighten it down yet because I do want to be able to adjust this with Grayson's hands before we get it all locked down. So we'll leave it just about there for now. Alright, so now what we need to do is feed the cable through the slot here. This guy's got to be turned the right way. That's going to slide in. Slide that guy into the bottom here. Pull it in, just like that. Alright, so now we've got our 8 millimeter bolt head with the 10 millimeter nut that we're going to go back down through. Let's make sure that slides up. That'll be just fine. Okay, one thing before you start to tighten this pivot bolt down is to make sure that you got your rubber boot on here. This slides over the pivot bolt, so now I'll be able to tighten down and get a little bit closer on this. Alright, so I'm not going to get it too tight just yet, but right now everything's on, everything's together, so that's a good thing here. And we're basically at the point now where we're going to be able to adjust the tension or the slack in the cable to get back to where we were. Now as you can see right here, we've got a ton of play. It's not adjusted yet. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start using the star adjuster, clicking towards the front of the bike, which is going to be tightening the cable. Now remembering we do want a little bit of play, so everything's not tightened down yet though, so I still need to get Grayson out here to get his measurements on his hand, make sure that it's the level that he wants it at. Alright, so we're going to get this boot slid up here up onto this star, and I'll do that once I'm done because I'm also going to tighten these all the way down. Right now this is able to move freely just so I can get his hands adjusted. Does that feel comfortable to you as far as the level goes?
Yeah.
Like I can move this down farther?
No, that feels fine.
That feels fine? Okay. So first things first, there's two adjustment points on this particular perch. The first one is right here. It's a 3 millimeter Allen wrench, and it's super hard to see, but it is in there. And if you move this clockwise this way, it's going to bring the lever closer to the grip. If I turn this Allen wrench counterclockwise, so back towards the exhaust, it will actually move it out. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this clockwise to see how much it actually moves the lever closer to the grip. Do you see it moving towards the grip at all, bud?
Yeah, I feel it.
You feel it?
It just, yeah, I just felt it.
Okay, so we can keep coming back. Do you feel like we need to come back more?
No, that feels perfect.
That feels perfect?
Yes.
Okay. Now the second adjustment is this radial dial here. And we have to basically undo the Allen wrench in the middle. And this will give us another degree of adjustability. As you can see, maybe as you may not be able to see, there are numbers on this particular dial. So what we're going to do is we're going to loosen this up. And it's kind of hard, but that's -1. And as you can see, -2 will move the handle closer. And it continues to move it closer.
That's really good.
Alright, so now that we have the lever positioning set, the play feels good, and the clutch cable, you want just a little bit of slack. You don't want this to be super tight, you want just a little bit of slack there. The rubber boot is pushed up against the adjustment knob. Of course, you've got your ProTaper boot here, which is installed. Next part is I'm going to go ahead and start to tighten everything down. Now, these two 8mm bolts on the perch go to 87 inch-pounds. So if you have a torque wrench, this particular torque wrench has inch-pounds here on the back, which is right there. This also has Newton meters, which is super handy because everything in the manuals are in that particular setting. So, but I am on 87 inch-pounds here, so we're going to go ahead and tighten these bolts. You want to do these evenly. So, go ahead. Click. Click. Alright, so holding the 8mm pivot bolt here on the top, we're also going to tighten the nut on the underside of the lever to 87 inch-pounds. We're going to go ahead and just warm the bike up, make sure that it works properly, that the tension is adjusted correctly, and just really appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully this helps you Motodads out there get these installed all on your own. It's not a hard job, just takes about an hour all by yourself. Maybe longer if you got the kids around and you're showing them how to do things like I did with Grayson. But thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions, don't forget, down below I will answer and get back to everything that I possibly can. So this is G2 Motocross. Thanks for watching. Grayson, Graham, we'll see you guys on the next video.